#2 money earner in all of Ignite, Mr. Steve Fisher.
You guys do everything fast here in New Jersey. You hear how fast he talks? Wow. I talk slower than that. I'm back in the state where they honk when the light's still red, right? First time I come over here, I'm sitting at a red light and the guy's behind me honking at me. The light's red. I think they were just sitting there, well, get ready to go, right? Never seen anything like that. But I'm excited to be in Jersey and be with you tonight, and I know we have a lot of new people here, and that's awesome. What a crowd. Incredible. That's great. Well, give it up for these guys. Didn't they do an incredible job? Man. I cannot add anything to that presentation. I mean, they just knocked it completely out of the park, and if you're getting that every week, guys, you should be loading this place up every week with guests. Get them in front of those two guys and let them build your business for you. That's what I would be doing. It's a great meeting here. Mount Laurel is always a great meeting, and if you guys all will be committed to this meeting on a weekly basis, whether you have a guest or not, it's one of the keys to success in this business is being committed to a weekly meeting, and just come every week. And I'm telling you, you'll pick up different nuggets from different leaders that will make a difference in your business. And so I'll just tell you real quickly about myself for those of you who are new, so you'll know my background and my perspective. Prior to Ignite, I was with American Airlines for 17 years. I was a senior analyst of airport operations for American system-wide, so my plate was full. I was traveling a lot. I really wasn't even looking for anything else. I was one of those guys that was too busy to do anything else. But I got a phone call one day from a friend of mine that was someone I had known for over 10 years and had a lot of respect for. He was a vice president for a major international corporation. He also owned several franchises, and he was just one of those guys that always made money, and my wife and I knew that about him. And he called me one day out of the blue and he said, Steve, I found a way that we can get paid residual income on electricity. When people pay their electric bill or even their gas bill, we can get paid. And no one had ever said that to me before. And coming from this guy, I was intrigued. I knew if Donnie was involved, there was money to be made. And I thought, you know, if he's doing it, the company is going to be credible. It's going to be worth my time to listen. And so when I saw the presentation that you saw tonight and I saw what this company was doing, it just made a lot of sense to me. And I knew it would work. I got excited about it. We started getting people in front of this information as quickly as possible, and it's been totally life-changing for me and my family. Today, this is all I do. I spend the majority of my time just helping other people succeed in this business as we have, and it's been very rewarding, not only financially, but in so many other ways as well, and hopefully you'll see some of that tonight. Now, I want to do something a little bit different tonight. I want to take you back a little bit and tell you the rest of the story and how I got started in this business. I actually heard about this in November of 2004, and I knew the company was going to launch in January of 2005. What I didn't know was that I was going to be laid off from my job at American the Wednesday before Christmas of 2004. My wife was a stay-at-home mom. We had 3 girls at home, a house, 2 cars, life. I had never been put in that position before in my entire life. But I got to tell you, I was actually a little excited about it because I had had it up to here with the corporate world. I mean, mentally, I had been gone for a couple of years. I think I was showing up at work, but mentally I was not there. And I think that might have been why I got laid off. I don't know, something to do with that. But my wife was the opposite of excited. She wasn't as happy as I was. But, you know, my first aha moment in this business, and I got to tell you the truth, my wife was not a fan of network marketing. As a matter of fact, she didn't like it at all. And so when we were both sitting on the couch when I got the phone call from Donnie Anderson about Ignite. And when I hung up the phone, my wife looked at me and she said, "Who was that?" I said, "It was Donnie Anderson." And she said, what did he want? And I said, there's a new electricity company that's starting up in Dallas and going to market as a network marketing company. And she said, that sounds like something you need to go listen to. And I knew I was going to be rich right then. Right? That was my first aha moment about that. I was like, man, if that's my wife's response, yes. It's going to be great. And so I started my business, and I tell you that story so you'll understand how I started my business, because even though I got a little severance package from American, and I stress the word little, I didn't have any other income coming in. And so, you know, this had to work for me. And I got started building my team, and back in 2005, I didn't get much sleep, guys. I got to tell you, we were building our business like crazy, and I would drive anywhere to meet with anyone, to share the opportunity and start building our team. I was doing whatever I had to do because it had to work for me. And I told my wife, she knew what kind of person I was. I said, if we get to the point where we don't have any money, and this isn't working, I'll do what I got to do. I'll go do what I got to do. But I believed in something here. I believed in the founders of this company. This was not their first rodeo. All the founders of this company were extremely successful before they started this company. I believed in them. I believed in this industry deregulation and the opportunity that provided. Getting paid residual income when people pay their electric bill. I got to tell you guys, the first time I heard that, I thought, if this is true, if what Greg just showed you is true, and I can insert myself into that equation and get paid when people pay their electric bill, not only the customers that I bring to the table, but thousands of other customers that are brought by my team, if I can get paid every month when they pay their electric bill, sign me up. That just makes sense, doesn't it? Who wouldn't want to do that? There's people out there. You guys got lots of negative people up here. But just expect it. But you can't get hung up with the negative people. You can't worry about the ones that don't see it. You just have to go out and find the people. I always say, I'm looking for the people that are looking for me. And they're out there. And if you'll not get frustrated with the process. If somebody does not want to get paid residual income when thousands of people pay their electric bill, next. Go to the next person. Don't worry about that. Don't try. As Jim Rohn says, I wouldn't take that class trying to figure out why somebody doesn't like that. Right? It'll drive you crazy. It'll drive you crazy, and it's just not worth it. So you just have to take massive action to find the people that does make sense to. And then when you find right people, guys, here's what I'm always looking for. I always say I'm looking for the right people. I don't get frustrated with the wrong people. I just recognize it's a wrong person. The right people do all the right things. They get their customers. They plug into the meetings on a weekly basis. They build their team. They're committed long term. The right people do all the right things. And so you've just got to go through that process and find those right people. And when I've recognized mid-conversation before that I was talking to a wrong person. You ever done that? Yeah. And you know what I do? I stop and I go, I just realized you're a wrong person. I got to go. Time for that. Right? Listen, you got to have fun with this business. I did this one time when I was doing a presentation in Texas, and it wasn't for me. It was someone had asked me to go do this presentation for him, for this guy. And so I go to do the presentation. We're sitting at a restaurant, and this guy, you could tell he was negative. I mean, from the very get-go. And we're sitting there, and he's got his arms crossed and got this awful look on his face, you know. I'm a busy person. And so I'm going through the presentation. About 2 slides in, I had enough. I had enough on the first slide, but at least I made it to the second slide, right? and so they get to the second slide, and he's just got this awful look on his face, and I stopped the presentation. I said, you know what? I just realized you're a wrong person. And he goes, and he totally changed, and he looked at me and he goes, "Oh, no, Mr. Fisher, I like what you're saying. Keep going." And from that point on, he had a smile on his, it was like Jekyll and Hyde. So maybe you should try that sometime. Just call him out, say, "You're a wrong person." But have fun with the business, guys. It's a key to not getting all hung up on yourself. I've been telling this story this week, and this is actually my last stop before I fly back home for Thanksgiving, and got the whole family coming to the house, so I'm a little excited to get home. But I've been telling this story in Pennsylvania, and it was really my network marketing story, and I think a lot of people look at us in the business. I've been doing this for 9 years, and we've had a lot of success, and they don't realize some of the things that we've been through, because we go through the same thing everyone else does. And when I had my first experience with network marketing, this is my second company, my first experience with network marketing, my brother called me, and he was an executive for Delta Airlines. And he called one day and he said, "Steve, I've got a business that I'm getting involved in, and I really want you to take a look at it with me. And I want to pick you up at 6 o'clock tonight and take you down to Fort Worth, and we're going to look at this business presentation." And I remember I had a lot of respect for my brother. And I remember feeling excited that he had even thought of calling me to do business with me. That was the feeling I had. So I didn't ask any questions. I was like, "Awesome, that'd be great." And so he comes and picks me up, and at 6 o'clock, and I get in the car, and he says, "Steve, now, I don't know who's doing the presentation tonight. And I don't know who all's going to be in the room." He said, "I don't want you to pay attention to any of that." He said, "All I want you to do is look at the numbers and tell me if they make sense to you." And it was a good thing he said that, because it was the absolute worst presentation I've ever seen in my life. It was awful. But I remember I looked at the numbers, and it made sense to me. And so I got excited, and I said, "Let's do it." And I remember telling my brother that night, I said, "I will absolutely kill this business. I'm going to kill it." Because I knew 10 people right off the top of my head that were going to immediately sign up with me in this business. I just had them right there, 10 people. I told him, I said, "I'll sign up 10 people this week." I told him that night. And so they gave me this little kit that looked like a pizza box, and that's all I had. And so I left that meeting, and I called one of my buddies that him and his wife were air traffic controllers in Dallas. And I knew they stayed up late, so I called them, and I said, "Hey, put a pot of coffee on. I'm coming over. I got to show you something." And I went in their house, and I threw this pizza box down on their kitchen table, and I said, "Look through that and tell me why this won't work." That was my presentation. That's all I knew, right? So they started going through this box, and every now and then they'd ask me a question, and I go, "I don't know." Look in there, see if you can find the answer. I don't know. And we did that for 2 hours. And now it was 11:30 at night, and after 2 hours, they signed up in my business. They were my first associate. And I remember calling my brother at 11:30 at night, and I was like, "Ha!" I said, "I haven't even been home yet, and I already signed up associate. I told you I'm going to kill this thing." I was very cocky, very young, cocky guy. 6 months later, I signed up my second associate. Now listen, I was trying. That's what's bad about it. I was trying. I could not figure this thing out. Now, the first guy that I signed up went crazy. He had 89 people on his team. 89 people. You only needed 12 to promote to the first position, and I couldn't promote because you had to sponsor 3 personals. I only had 1. 89 people. People would ask me, "Well, how's that business going for you?" I was going, "Great, I got 89 people working for me." Right? I had to find something positive. But inside, it was killing me. It was absolutely killing me. And I remember we had one of the top money earners in the company coming to our town one week. And I made a declaration. I said, "You know what? This is going to be my week. It's going to be my week." And I set a goal to invite 30 people to that meeting that week. And I did it. Now you got to understand, I was pretty frustrated at this point because I'd been trying for 6 months. And so I set this goal, and I talked to 30 people. And I had 15 people of those 30 tell me they're going to be there. Now, you got to understand, I grabbed these people by the shirt after they said they're going to be there. I said, hey, you don't tell me you're going to be there and not show up. Because I had enough of that. I was tired of people saying they're going to do something and not do it. I'm not like that. If I tell you I'm going to do something, you can take it to the bank. I'm going to do it. I was surprised people tell you something and don't do it. So I grab them by the shirt and I'm like, I wanted to make them sign in blood, right? But I just stopped at the shirt. I grabbed him by the shirt and I said, you're going to be there. You say you're going to be there, you're going to be there, right? So after all that, those 15 people still said, Steve, I'll be there. I was like, okay. So I get there early and I am dressed up, man, like the cover of GQ. I get there early. I go up to this top money earner guy, and I'm talking. I said, this is my night. I said, I have 15 guests coming to this meeting. And I'll never forget the look in his eye as he looked down at me. I could tell he felt sorry for me. And he was like, Steve, just don't be upset if they don't all come. And I said, oh, no, you don't understand. I said, I grabbed these people by the shirt. They're coming. These 15 people said they're coming. So that night, 6:55, none of them were there yet. But it's okay, I have 5 minutes. 7 o'clock, none of them there. That night, none of the 15 people showed up. And that was the night that I quit network marketing forever. I quit. I went home to my wife and I said, obviously, I can't do this. I've tried for 6 months, I can't make it happen. I invite 30 people, they don't come. I'm done with this. I resolved in my mind just to go back to my job at American Airlines, and that's what I was going to do. So the next day, we had to ride a tram into the terminal at American Airlines, and I'm sitting on the tram, and right across from me is one of the dudes that said he was going to be there. I was just looking at him. I think you could tell I was mad. And he was like, Steve, we really wanted to be there last night, but my wife had something come up. He said, can you come to our house tonight and show us the business? And I had to think about that because I had quit the night before, right? But something just came out of my mouth. I said, absolutely. Right? So I go to his house and I show him the business. They sign up on the spot. They're my second associate. This is a true story. The very next day, another guy at American comes up to me and says, man, we really wanted to be there. Can you come to our house and show us the business? Absolutely. So I went to their house and showed them the business. They signed up. They were my third associate. I promoted that night. Went on to make hundreds of thousands of dollars with that company. And it was a learning experience for me in the network marketing business. And I want you to look back at what happened and what caused that to happen. Because there was a declaration made. There was a goal set. I took immediate massive action and invited 30 people to that meeting. And through that process, a few of them signed up. Some of the others that told me no or didn't show up that night ultimately signed up in my business. And so that massive action paid off. And I think one of the mistakes in network marketing is people get involved and it's a great idea. You see what's going on here. It makes so much sense. And in your mind you think, oh my gosh, this is just common sense, yes? And doesn't everyone see it that way? No. And you go out and you start talking to a few people and you get a few negative responses. And what the masses do is they go, ooh, didn't know. I didn't know it would be negative out there. And they choose to quit rather than fight for their freedom. And guys, if you could see this business through my eyes today, and I want you to hear me, I don't say anything to brag tonight, but I do want to stretch your vision. And I want you to understand what you have your hands on. This is not like most traditional businesses. And I'm not knocking traditional business. There's a lot of traditional business owners in the room here tonight. But I have a lot of buddies that own traditional businesses, and the thought of taking a 2-week vacation is not on their radar screen because they have employees that steal from them. Right? They have inventory they have to worry about. They have storefronts. They have a lot of headaches that come along with the traditional businesses. And if you can take this away with you tonight. If I made a decision tonight, and my wife and I decided that I'm going to take the next 6 months off, and we're going to go out of the country for 6 months, we could. Now you need to hear me. I wouldn't have to worry about my Ignite business. My team is growing without me. I have residual income that comes in every month, whether I do anything or not. And I'm not trying to paint a fairy tale picture for you tonight. I busted my tail to get to that point. I made a lot of sacrifices for years to get to that point. But the only question you have to answer for yourself tonight is it worth it? And the answer is yes. Your freedom is worth it. Your time is worth it. We all have a very short period of time on this earth. It's short. And you have to answer the question tonight, what is your time worth? What's your time on this earth worth? What were you put here to do? What were you put here to accomplish? I'm not saying that Ignite is your purpose. But Ignite can be the vehicle that can allow you to accomplish your purpose. But you got to take massive action. You got to be committed long term. You got to have stickability. You got to be able to handle the no's and get past it. And find those right people, because it just takes a few right people. Just imagine if Mike Fody was in your downline. He's a machine. He's a machine. He's working this business like crazy without his upline. Now, I know he has a great upline, but you know what? He's not dependent on his upline. He's working this business like crazy because he's fighting for his family and he's fighting for his freedom. And all you have to do is have a few people like that on your team. You can talk to the top 10 money earners in this company, and they will tell you, they can point to 1 or 2 people on their team that exploded their organization. 1 or 2. So it's just a matter of being persistent through the process of finding those right people. Keep getting promoted. Keep getting better. Personal development has got to be something you're committed to on a daily basis so that you become more attractive to the people you're trying to attract. Presley Swaggerty taught me a long time ago. He said, Steve, if people would just become the person that they're trying to attract, they would attract those people much quicker. It's personal development, guys. Getting good at what we do here. Learning from your mistakes. We all make mistakes. I've done things before and I go, well, geez, that didn't work. I won't do that again, right? But you can learn from leaders like Mike and Greg and Deneen and a lot of the leaders here in the room that have built significant businesses and significant residual incomes. Guys, we've got something special here. I'm telling you, as busy as I was, nothing else would have gotten my attention. But when they said electricity, and we could get paid residual income on a life essential service, a public utility service that's fixed into everyone's budget, that made sense to me, and I said, I can do that. And that's what I love about our business. I can go to anybody. It doesn't matter what they do for a living. It doesn't matter if they're the CEO of a company. I can impress them with what we have here. They have to be impressed. 9 years and $6 billion? That's impressive. And guys, the future ahead of us is bright. But you have to go to work. You got to be committed. You got to start building a team like crazy. And if you'll plug into these meetings and do some home meetings as well and take action, take massive action, and use all the support system that you have here with Ignite, you can build a large residual income with our company, and it can set you free. So I hope that helps you tonight. What I want to do now is I want to bring Mr. Savage back up, and he's going to go in detail, a little bit more detail, just real quick, on the November promotion so you can really get a good grasp of what we have this month, because